The court shook when Chief Judge William Pryor slammed Meghan Markle's lawyers, leaving her side stunned, while Samantha Markle's team celebrated a big win.
Do you think meeting Harry, being with Harry, marrying Harry has improved your sister's behavior, or do you think it's made it worse, the whole situation?
September 9, 2025 became the day Meghan's big legal machine cracked, as Judge Pryor tore apart her team's arguments with sharp, precise words, leaving the courtroom tense and experts calling her defense.
Because I think he has personality profile that perfectly enables someone who is an alleged narcissist.
Insiders say Meghan's lawyers were shaken as Judge Pryor called their arguments beside the point, turning a critique into public humiliation, and the news quickly sent shockwaves through her Montecito.
I don't think she's capable of empathy, remorse, or shame. I don't think she could feel enough to apologize.
Home Meghan, who built her post-royal brand on control and victimhood, was suddenly hit with a courtroom blow she couldn't spin, and Samantha Markle's lawyer, Peter Tickton, quickly seized the chance, turning her team's mistakes into fuel for his client's appeal.
When you're pregnant, there's not a pillow under your skirt, and there's live footage of her walking towards camera with her abdomen swaying left to right in a black and white checkered.
The irony is wild because Meghan, who always painted herself as the wrong one, is now being outplayed by the half-sister she tried to shut down, and the fallout is already shaking both royal circles and Hollywood with whispers that her once untouchable legal shield is starting to crack. And this courtroom showdown is just the start of a much bigger drama ahead.
When she said, "I lost my father," we knew that she didn't lose our dad, she iced our father.
Peter Tickton walked into court like a man on a mission and tore Meghan's defense apart, calling it a smorgasbord of random arguments thrown together with no focus. His calm, sharp style made her legal team look desperate and unprepared, and the moment the judges realized her high-priced lawyers had actually missed key points, the whole room shifted from disbelief to shock. Experts are already calling it a masterclass in strategy and a total humiliation for Meghan's side, turning what was supposed to be her strong defense into a public disaster that now threatens both her legal case and her carefully built image. Insiders say Peter Tickton was practically glowing as Meghan's lawyers kept handing him wins with every mistake they admitted, and instead of defending her, they basically built his case for him, making it clear the original dismissal was shaky. From the start, the fallout spread fast, with palace whispers of emergency calls in Montecito and frantic crisis talks as her once untouchable image of control crumbled even worse. Samantha's legal team pushed forward with claims that Meghan's Oprah interview and Netflix series weren't just family drama, but calculated attacks that triggered real death threats against her half-sister. Suddenly, this wasn't about petty disputes, but about safety and accountability with court filings, showing threats serious enough for police involvement. What was once framed as frivolous now looked frighteningly real, and September 9th is already being called the day Meghan's legal armor finally shattered in front of the world sources inside. The courtroom say the tension was off the charts, as Meghan's lawyers weren't just losing, they were being taken apart piece by piece. Judges fired tough questions one after another, and Chief Judge Pryor's line that their arguments were beside the point landed like a knockout punch. The lawyers who usually walk in with confidence looked rattled, while Peter Tickton stayed calm, sharp, and in control. He let them stumble, then drove his points home with clarity. Court reporters said the mismatch felt almost embarrassing, like one side came ready for battle and the other thought it would be a casual chat. Legal experts now call it a textbook disaster, showing how not to handle an appeal. But here's the real twist. Even if Samantha's case ends in dismissal, her team has already won. They forced damaging admissions onto the record-exposed cracks in Meghan's pricey legal armor and shifted the story from Samantha being frivolous to Meghan looking vulnerable. Now insiders say future lawsuits will cite this case as proof she's not untouchable. Palace whispers hint that others may feel emboldened to challenge her, and the bigger blow is to her brand of control and competence. Phones in Montecito rang non-stop as crisis teams rushed to contain the fallout, because for the first time, Meghan's legal shield looks breakable. Meghan spent millions to build her post-royal brand of control and power, but now one courtroom disaster has shaken everything, and no shiny magazine cover can fix it. Her whole image was about being smart, prepared, and in charge. Yet when her lawyers admitted mistakes in federal court, that story collapsed. The gap between her polished red carpet life and her team fumbling under pressure is too big to ignore. Even her fans are struggling to make sense of it. Hollywood insiders say her PR team held emergency meetings, but there was no easy spin for a judge ripping apart her legal strategy. The damage is spreading to to her business world too, with partners quietly rethinking deals. Because if she can't manage her own legal battles, can she really handle big projects? Critics are already pointing to this as proof that Meghan lives in constant drama and can't escape controversy, and this time, Harry gets dragged in as well, since their careers and image are tied together. Insiders whisper that the stress is spilling into their marriage because his reputation also takes a hit from her courtroom mess. What makes it worse is how this ruins her carefully planned path. She wanted to be seen as a serious leader, not stuck in family fights. Yet here she is battling her half-sister and losing the bigger war of public image. Royal watchers say this case has killed any chance of reconciling with her paternal relatives, and instead of quieting down the feud, it has only fueled more anger and bitterness. Thomas Markle Sr. and others now feel vindicated as Samantha holds her own against Meghan's top lawyers, turning the fight into a family. Wide rebellion experts explain that legal battles in families are poison because they drag every personal wound into the public record, and once that happens, forgiveness is almost impossible. The image of Meghan as a woman of connection and healing is shattered when nearly all of her family is suing or speaking out against her. Even tabloids are mocking the contrast between her speeches on love and wellness and the ugly legal war at home. Insiders even say distant relatives are uniting over their shared resentment and could create bigger challenges for her. Later, this saga has now gone global, with the Markle name becoming a warning sign of how fame and lawsuits can rip a family apart. The biggest worry now is how this endless family fight will shape the future for Archie and Lily, who might grow up with no bond at all with their mom's side of the family, and that could cause deep emotional scars later on. But even that personal pain is being pushed aside as everyone waits for the next legal bombshell, because the battle is not finished, and the upcoming written opinion could change everything. If the judge's sharp words about Meghan's lawyers end up in the official record, then that stain will follow her forever in every courtroom fight ahead. Insiders say opinions are often softened when written down, but the criticism here was so harsh it will be hard to hide it. Samantha's team is already gaming out every possible outcome, and if the ruling highlights how unprepared Meghan's lawyers were, it will give Samantha and even future challengers a powerful weapon to use against her again and again. Tickton and his crew are already digging deep to find ways to use any harsh words in the coming decision as fuel to keep Meghan stuck in court battles for years. And both sides know if the written opinion hits too hard, her lawyers might be forced to beg the full appeals court for a hearing, which would drag this nightmare out even longer and make their mistakes. Even more public palace whispers say the stress is crushing her inner circle with every call or headline, bringing new fear, while Hollywood insiders reveal that business partners are now demanding extra safety clauses before working with her because nobody wants to get pulled into her legal mess, and the press is circling ready with rewritten stories, no matter which way the ruling goes, making sure the whole world dissects every detail. And the scariest part is that this could either fade as a minor chapter or mark the start of an era where Meghan is seen as legally weak and vulnerable, giving rivals and even royals who stayed quiet until now a chance to strike against her shiny brand. The way this whole courtroom mess has exploded is honestly wild, because for years Meghan tried to sell herself as this smart, strong woman who always had the upper hand, and now the British press is tearing that whole story apart with endless headlines showing her not as a clever planner, but as someone whose own legal team can't even hold it together. And it is not just about one case, it is about the image she built after leaving the palace, the brand of being in control, calm, and always 2 steps ahead. And now all of that looks shaky. Insiders from London media say every editorial meeting is buzzing with new angles because they know this story is too juicy to let go. And while the spotlight is mainly on Meghan, the shadow falls right on Harry too, because he is trying so hard to look like a serious leader and a family man, making speeches about mental health and kindness. But when your wife is being ripped apart in federal court, people start asking if really make good choices, and if leaving the royal family was ever the smart move. And palace whispers say some royals feel vindicated, like they always knew this brand would crack under pressure, but they also know it hurts the monarchy as a whole because the drama makes everyone look messy, not just the Sussexes. Hollywood insiders are also saying that the ripple effect is real because business deals are slowing down brands and studios are adding new safety clauses to contracts so they don't get dragged into lawsuits tied to the Duchess. That is huge because her whole future plan was to build an empire of streaming books, speaking, and lifestyle projects. And when people start doubting your judgment, they start doubting everything you touch. And then comes the even bigger problem, because once the public sees you stumble, the critics get louder and the rivals grow bolder. Samantha has basically shown the world that the Sussex team is not untouchable, and now anyone who ever thought of challenging Meghan might be thinking now is the time. The scary part for Team Meghan is that this moment will not just fade away like a tabloid headline. It will follow her into every deal, every court case, every interview, making people remember that even the most expensive lawyers in Hollywood made rookie mistakes under her watch. So the question now is not just about one appeal, it is about whether the Sussex brand can survive the loss of its strongest weapon, the illusion that they were always in control. And for royal watchers and the global press, this feels like a turning point, a chapter where the power shifts again and where the once polished image of Meghan as a master player is left cracked for everyone to see.